lovers of pop culture and toys got together on the internet and they started making noise. So everybody, let's join Jesse Arnold and his buddy Curtis Ackerman, because when indulging in fine geekery, it's always best to bring a friend or two. Everybody loves shooting the shell. Let's start shooting the shell. You're gonna love it now. Let's start shooting the shell. Just might make you say wow. Let's enjoy some fun conversation. We'll be shooting the shell around the nation. Let's start shooting the shell.
Oh, hey there, folks. Good morning. Welcome to Last Minute LegionsCon Prep. I mean, Shooting the Shelf, episode 44. Curtis, my compadre, my co-pilot, my co-host, my blue flannel gang. How's it going tonight, sir?
I'm doing most excellent. Been shooting up shelves all day long, preparing for this. Lots of holes in them. Going through a lot of ammo, but they are fully shotten at this point, so we're good.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe it's time to rebrand the show next year and change the name. I don't want people getting the wrong idea. But I kind of have a feeling with certain people that watch the show, they would get the wrong idea no matter what it was called. So,
Yep.
yeah.
How about I hit the names in the chat? I know you've been like working right up to the wire. I've not been doing anything today other than being on YouTube.
I might throw up.
So, yeah. So let me hit the chat up. We got JMac77 out there. Dirk's Designs. Legends Collector 1321. I am TJ Williams. The H is silent. Jeremy Govier. Dub3. Dave Orkin is out there. Darla Ackerman, I know her. Tanya McCoy. We got Brian Lynn of Carver Customs out there. Wholesome Warlock of the Purple Gang. Then we've got Stacy Lynn. That's all three Lyns. And our three favorite of the Lyns for sure. Just because we don't really know a whole lot of others, but they're still great people. Kemp Pool Collects is out there. He's totally destroyed his shelves. His shelves are gone at this point. But yeah, that's all right. We got Steve-O out there. Heinrich. Got Michael Morales. Endless Fables. David Williams. Jeffrey Evans. Scroll. We got Uncle Bob and Aunt Shelly out there. Uncle Bob, I may be stopping by. I'm not sure. I'll probably be pulling through Pennsylvania sometime early Tuesday morning. Depending on if you guys are open, I may see if I can swing by
11 a.m.
11 a.m. That might be too late, but we'll see. I'll take a look. Let's see. We got Guaisagüe Echevarria out there. Jose Torres. We got Paul Zach. Mr. C. Rob Zamora. Hey, he's my favorite Zamora. We've got Patrick Boyle is out there. Mark Rivera, Santos Rivera. Man, we got the Riveras, we got the McCoys, we got the Lyns, we got one of the Orkins. I'm sure the other one's going to show up. Yeah, we're killing it. So
Uncle Bob says he's going to open early just for you. Let him know when you're coming through.
See, here's my problem is that if I were to map out from me to New Jersey, it comes out to be like right at about like 14 hours, maybe a little bit more than that. But that's with no stops, no gas, no stretching your legs, no grabbing anything to eat, whatever. So normally it takes me more like about 17 hours to get there. And then on the way back, it takes more like 21 hours because I'm exhausted. Darla has to take some turns drive and we have to stretch our legs a few more times. So I can't say exactly when I'm going to be there. But what I'll do is I'll take a look at what time we're leaving, what time I think we might be in the area. And I'll, if it works out, I will let you know for sure. So I do appreciate the offer though. And I think we got to everybody that's here. So appreciate everybody joining us live and anybody watching us on replay. Of course, if you're watching us on replay and it's after next weekend, this episode's not going to do you much good because this episode is all about what we are bringing to LegionsCon this upcoming weekend. So, you know, there's kind of a timestamp on this one. It's like when you get your milk and it's got like the expiration date. Like this one expires next Sunday. So you've got 1 week to watch this if you're not watching it now live. So
it's more of a Best Buy date on the milk, right?
That, I mean, depends on how you look at it. I mean, it's kind of gross to think of it that way, but yeah.
Man, you would never want to drink any milk I had. I pulled mine out of the fridge tonight. I was like, the first, that was forever ago. I was like, no, that was only 2 days ago.
We do have, and Stephanie Organ jumped in, so now we have both the organs out there. So there you go.
I was a little jealous this afternoon listening to you and the Euro folks and Steph and the other crew that were on there. I really wanted to jump in, but I had my hands covered in paint, slapping stuff together, and just didn't happen. But I was in the chat a little bit. So
what color paint was it?
All the colors.
Oh, I was just wondering if maybe if we would have seen you on camera, if we would have caught you red-handed.
At that point, I don't think I was using red during that session.
Okay.
I don't remember what I was working on, but anyway, yeah. So, hey, we've got a couple of awesome guests coming on tonight.
You know what the song says.
Yeah. Bring a friend or just you.
Oh yeah, that yeah. It's just us. So
it's just us.
Yeah.
But hey, we're a lot to take in on our own. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Right, you ready for shelf selections? You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do the shelf selections.
This may look a little bit different for folks. I don't think it's going to look too different, but just full disclosure, StreamYard's having an issue right now pulling in slideshows. So we can still show a slideshow. You just have to open it up on another window and then share your screen. So it may look slightly different, but just FYI. So this is shelf selections. For those of you tuning into it the first time, where you been? Also, this is where Jesse and I found some photos during the week that inspired us, and we're going to show them to you now. So starting off, the first one, who's in the chat right now, we got Mr. C 5050. Saw this today. He started to get some paint on this thing that he's been building for a while. He does this thing where he kind of alternates between big projects and smaller projects and back and forth. And obviously, from the looks of it, this is a really big project. And he's starting to get paint on it, and man, it's coming out awesome. I love this. Not only the build itself, but the fact that he's got these relic Templars like all around it, that makes me kind of think like maybe this is where they're guarding the relic, you know? So yeah, I just thought this was really cool.
Yeah, I remember we had this on a couple months ago when it was just the two far left, like the far left and the far right pieces, that vertical wall with the balcony and the stairs.
Yeah.
And I thought they were just going to go either side by side or face to face. And then over the last couple months watching him do this, I'm like, oh, I was way off. And this thing is insane. Yeah. I just want to get in there and like set stuff up and like play with my toys.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was asking when we had Jeremy on about like getting a table. Like, can you imagine this guy's stuff at LegionsCon? It would be bonkers. So, yeah. Next one is one of Jesse's.
This is Toys and Photography. Mask of the Red Death. I love this kind of like I don't know if it's necessarily like a movie poster or like a book cover homage kind of a thing, but I really liked the font on it, and it just felt like, something you would see like an old school movie, with like the white border around it and like the cast down at the bottom and like a white box and everything. And Mask of the Red Death is still one of my favorite of the figura obscuras that they've done, and just seeing it in this, you know, uh, I don't think it's outside in actual nature, but that it's in an outside setting for the figure, I think is pretty fun. And the kind of wrought iron fence around it and everything. It's just a really, really creative shot. I really like it. And yeah.
Yeah, Jesse, I can confirm Jesse is definitely a font guy. And when I saw this photo that he sent me, I was like, he liked the font on this. I kind of knew that, but the shot itself is great as well. I love the metal grating in the background. Kind of looks like he's in an abandoned graveyard or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really nice shot, and excellent job on the font, because it does look really cool. It looks like something out of like a I think Steph said it here that it was campy. Yeah, it looks like something from like a campy horror type movie. I like it. Next one's one of mine, and I believe he's in the chat as well. This is our good friend Elijah, Captain Firebeard Baker. If he's going to be taking shots of something, it's going to probably be goblins, and it is, and they look awesome. I love the smoke effect. Love how they just, I don't know, they look like a badass, like little team that like goes, and I don't mean little as in they're short. I just mean like a small number of people, almost like a SEAL team or something, like some sort of specialist that the goblins send in to like really dangerous situations. They look no nonsense for sure. I thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah, this is a great shot. I love the smoke trail in there, and just the in and out of focus bits with the stuff on the ground. This is an awesome shot. And I like we say a lot of these, the pictures that tell a story really grab us, and this one definitely is telling a story. And I agree, it was like a little hit squad or like cleanup crew or something. And yeah, they do not look like goblins to mess around with.
I don't think I've even seen that head that's in front. I don't even know that I've seen that before. But it's pretty serious looking.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Next one's one of Jesse's.
So this one was posted as a Toy Mirth and Duart Studios. I believe Brian made the diorama, but this is Mythic Legion's Troll hunting a valiant knight inside. And, Brian does amazing dio work. His stuff always looks so realistic. And just the fact that you've got this, shot from inside, like a dark, castle tower or entryway or whatever, and that troll with that alternate head on it and the armor and everything just coming through is just, I mean, this feels like a shot out of a movie. I love it.
Yeah, this looks awesome. I love how he's reaching in there, the lighting from behind him, the head sculpt looks very fierce. But I think my favorite thing out of all of this is how Jesse selected this for a shelf selection, but did not follow the guy. That's my favorite.
I might have followed him after I grabbed the shot.
I saw this. I'm like, man, Jesse couldn't even give the guy a follow. He had his awesome
I usually
picture.
do the follows. I usually try to make sure if I'm not following when I do the tags on the Monday recap that I tag them then. So yes.
But no, this thing looks awesome. Great job with the dio, the shot, everything. Yeah, it's amazing. So next one is this is actually pretty recent. I think I saw this either today or yesterday. Blaze did this repaint on this figure, and it looks fantastic, dude. I would have never thought to do that with that head. I don't know why, but it works so well, man. I love the colors on this. Yeah, man, that thing's fantastic. It's so good. I don't even know what else to say. It's just amazing.
I agree. Like at first I was thinking it was a different head in the hood, and then when you said that, I realized it was the Dubon head just totally repainted. And it just shows what a good repaint can do, whether
Mhm.
it's from a customizer or the factory or the studio themselves. Like, it can completely transform a character with the right paint apps. And just, oh man, all those greens. I bet Patrick Boyle, if he's still watching, is probably drooling on this, just with the
Mhm.
green colors. And yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him paired up with someone's green armory experience builds. Just because green's my favorite color as well. But yeah, this is awesome. Blaze killed it, and I dig it. I
I
think he
love
said he
how
was
he
going to
did the
possibly do a. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I love how he did the mask. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it looks because that sculpt has like almost kind of like bags under his eyes, and the way that he painted it, it makes it look like it's actually a sculpted mask. It's so
Uh-huh.
good. Yeah.
I believe in the comment or his whatever it said that he was debating doing a whole Justice League team, which I've seen a lot of Marvel characters, and Emil's done so many tributes, and so many other people have as well. But I don't think I've seen anyone do like a whole Justice League lineup. So
Yeah,
I'm
that'd be
staying
cool.
tuned for this.
Um, looks like Elijah's back with us and says thanks for the awesome pictures. So
Yeah.
next one's one of
And
Jesse's. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say he also said he picked that head up at LegionsCon somewhere
Oh, gotcha.
last year. Um, I the skeleton pictures Cullen was doing, a skeleton a day. I think other people were doing it as well. I was most aware of him and Douglas Tupper doing it. I know some other people were, but I saw his stuff and Douglas's almost every day. And this one just cracked me up because it looks like, the skeleton's like got his finger. I don't know if he's coming out or if he's like because I believe this was the last day of October.
Hmm.
If he's like sinking back into the ground, like I'll be back next year. It's just fun, and he's got him like buried under wood chips and grass and stuff, and
Mhm.
it's just a fun picture. It amused me.
Mm. Definitely a fun picture. Little blurry. Little blurry. Looks like maybe you took it, on a potato, but the setup, the wood chips, the way that he's either coming out of the ground or going back into the ground, very cool. I would say, Cullen, if you're watching this, which you won't because you don't watch these shows, but if you are, you need to get with Dub3. Dub3's got an amazing camera and has an eye for like just getting these really sharp photos. And he'll help you out. He'll help you get those photos nice and crisp. So yeah, hit up Dub3. So next, speaking of Dub3, look at that. I didn't even mean to do that. But here we got Lacerda Photo on Instagram. And look at this setup, man. Like just the whole thing with the bookshelves in the background and all the little trinkets, and you got the head containers from Frankenstein's creature, and all the little bottles that Swig has there, the little candle. Like this whole setup is just awesome. I have no idea how long it took him to set this up. But it's really cool. I love that. And then the fact that you can see that one book. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it from here, but I can see on my screen that through the glass container, you can see that one book says Book of Magic, which is really cool. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, this shot is great. As soon as you pulled it up, like my anxiety went into overdrive because you said how long it would have taken him to set. Guarantee you, if I was setting this up, I would have sneezed or coughed at least once or twice during the setup and
Mhm.
knocked everything over. And yeah, yeah, this is awesome. Like you said, Dub's always got awesome photos, and this one is, it's like this is like Swig getting ready to start the story of the Thousand Swigs,
Mhm.
all those bottles and everything.
Yeah, they're just empty. It's like he's just at the beginning of that tale,
Yep.
So cool. Next one's one of Jesse's.
This is our buddy Thomas Boulay with another great shot. We had a black and white version of not this same shot, but these characters a couple weeks ago, um, where it was like kind of an overhead shot looking down into the workshop or office. And just seeing this was just I thought the angle was fun, and it's just I muted myself. It was a really fun shot. Great use of I believe he used a couple different figures to make it's like a mezco with someone else's head, but yeah, great shot.
Yeah, this is cool. I once again, just the setup, the amount of stuff going on in the background, like these toy photographers do so much to put this stuff together and make it work. And I really truly appreciate it, because it's really all about having fun with your toys. It's just how we play. Like, some folks, they just like posing their figures. Some folks like popping and swapping. Some folks like painting. Some folks like photography. And it's like, how do you get enjoyment out of your toys? And I agree with you, Jesse. Like, seeing stuff like this, seeing stuff like the Swig one, for me, it gives me anxiety, because I know I'm clumsy as fuck and I would be knocking shit all over. And then you knock over one thing, and then when you go to pick that up, you end up knocking over something else, and it's like a whole chain reaction. So yeah, this gives me anxiety. But the fact that somebody can put this kind of stuff together and take a great shot like this, I really do, appreciate and hey, hats off to you guys. But yeah, Thomas, this looks awesome. Great job. Next one, I believe he's in the chat as well. Man, we got a lot of folks in the chat that are throwing out pictures tonight. This is Rocco the Great, Rocco the Great Art, sorry, on Instagram. And I saw this. I really like this because it's not like a full castle. It's not like even a full wall. It's just like this little bit of kind of destroyed wall that's still there, that's enough for him to kind of sit in front of and kind of block maybe some of the cold air, maybe a breeze that's coming through there. And then he's got the little fire in front of him. I could definitely see something like this, being where somebody would like see just this little kind of rock formation and go, you know what? That's where I'm going to set up my campfire. I'm just going to sit right in here in this cozy little corner and just, kind of keep myself warm. So I just thought this was really cool. And, side note, when I first got into, and I know, Rocco's been very active in the community lately. But before he was really in Mythic Legions or really in the Cabal or anything, he was one of the first people that kind of got me started into this kind of stuff. Because as I was started collecting Mythic Legions, I stumbled upon his channel, and early on he had a lot of Dio stuff. He would show like how to make certain things, and I really appreciated that he would use stuff that most people would throw away. So he would like take stuff. They would be like, hey, you got some of this laying around your house. You got a paper towel roll. You've got, this or that. And he would show you how you could make cool Dio pieces out of stuff that you just maybe had laying around your house. And I just thought that was so awesome. Like, cause there's a lot of this stuff when we get into painting and Dios and all this kind of stuff where you can go out and spend, hundreds of dollars on supplies. But when you can reutilize things that are already in your home and make something cool is just pretty damn awesome. And so that got me started on doing some Dios and doing some painting, and then led into the customs and everything else. So seeing him now getting more involved in the community and seeing photos like this makes me happy, because it's kind of like it's come full circle a little bit. So.
Well, speak of the devil, I was thinking of this gentleman while you were talking, because I'm pretty sure on Legion's Lounge or something, or was it Euro Legions? He was on something recently and Rocco's name came up, and I'm pretty sure, Thomas, please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure he said a very similar thing, to where it was some of his stuff got him aware of Mythic Legions. Maybe I apologize if I'm getting the wrong person. I've listened to so many stuff with so many different people this week. Yeah. So that's cool. This is a page I've only recently become aware of, and just seen how active he's been and that he's been watching the show. So Rocco, keep up the awesome creativity, and thanks for hanging out with us. This is a great shot. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Curtis. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there.
Oh, you're fine.
I do love that little corner Dio piece, and just the focus shift, where he's in focus, the stuff in front is out. And yeah, it's almost like, all right, is he waiting for someone? Because like anyone coming up is going to know that fire is there,
right?
But you know, in my mind's also going D&D. Like, is he laying an ambush? Is he waiting for his friends to catch up to him?
See, I would like this. Cool. This just felt cold to me, and I know like there's nothing. There's not like snow on the ground or anything like that. But just like I remember when I was a kid, and you'd be like waiting for the bus or something, and there would be like a really like brisk wind coming through, and you just looked for like any kind of something that you could kind of hide behind to block that wind a little bit and just offer you a little bit of warmth. And you know, that's what this felt like to me. So it you know, we talk about a picture telling a story, and that's the story I got off of that. So
look at you with having a place to hide in the wind as a kid.
Next one. Now, this isn't one of Jesse's, but this is one that I saw that I was like, Jesse would have picked this had he saw it. So I had to pick it for Jesse. This is Sir_Valor on Instagram. And obviously we got Thistlethorn in there. Looks like he's being given some sort of papers. I'm not sure what's going on, what he's given a mission or something to protect or what. But yeah, I just thought this was kind of a cool shot. I love that they got the guards up front and you've got like this scene kind of, you know, in the background going on. Yeah, I just thought this was a nice little setup.
This is great. I saw a different version of this where it was I can't remember what he named her, the snake. We had he had done a pair of these snake ladies or something last year, and he's been reworking them. And I believe I saw a closer up version. I don't think I saw this one, but this is great. That custom is absolutely fantastic. Thistlethorn's got, are those Xylona's swords? Because those are not the ones that come with him.
It does look like it, yeah.
Because his aren't gold, but that's really cool. I do, yeah. I definitely did not see this one as this shot, and this is really cool. Yeah, again, I'm 100% roped into what could be happening here. And
Brian seems to be happy with the lighting choice. So it looks like that's one of his lights right there behind the. Yeah, I was
like,
hey man. We might not notice it, but he zeroes in on it. Like it's like there it is, you know. Like
yeah, I mean, you know your work and you can spot it. Like that's great. Yeah, I see it now. But yeah, yeah.
Well, that's it for shelf selections. But speaking of Brian, Brian was excited that we were doing our show tonight on our tables and what we got going on, and he decided he wanted to do a giveaway on our show tonight. So,
oh wow,
he has a set of these bad boys that he is offering up to be picked up at LegionsCon. So, if you're going to LegionsCon, feel free to put in for this. And it's a set of these 2 torches. So. In fairness, he only sent me one picture of one torch, but then I like inverted it and made it look like 2. So,
you want to know something crazy?
I'm very technical like that. What's that?
This is not a critique of you. At work, I work in a picture frame shop, and my coworker was framing a bunch of stuff while I was stretching this week, and he was like, "Man, this picture looks really weird." And these are like professional. I don't know if they're professional photos, but they come from like design places. People pick them off of websites or whatever. Yeah. And it was this like, I don't know what else to call it. It was like an avenue of trees, you know, where it's just like a walkway through trees that line up. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen shots like this, but it was clear they had taken the split down the middle, flipped the trees. And I don't know if they photoshopped it or if they used like AI generative fill, but like the first 3 trees or the 2 second and third trees were identical. Anyway, they mirrored it, and then they did some weird stuff, and it was really janky. I'm like, man, someone paid money to put this photoshopped AI bullshit up in whatever office.
Well, nobody paid me money. I just did this on my own.
But like you did this, and this is great because you're showing off a product to give away. And
which Brian does say that these are exclusive for the con this year. Nice. So just FYI.
Let me,
And then Jordan, who's very much more kind than he should be, says that I'm the guy at the computer during the diamond heist. So there you go.
Yeah, you're the guy putting like the fake CCTV footage.
Yeah,
like, you know. Yeah.
I'm the black guy in the van on Die Hard. I'm that guy. So
You mean the cop?
No, the guy that's in the
the
parking garage. That's
the chauffeur.
Yeah, no. The guy that's with the bad guys that he's like doing the computer stuff to try to open the vault and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's two. I guess that I
Gotcha.
should have specified. I forgot
You
there's
did
so many
say
black guys in
in the
cars.
van,
Yeah.
and yeah.
I forgot Die Hard has a lot of black men behind the wheel. So there you go.
What's our hashtag, Brian?
That's a good question. Did you see his shirts too? He's got some new shirts out. Yeah, they're awesome.
So let's use that. Let there be light.
There you go. I think that works.
There be light.
Yes, Jesse is definitely Hans Gruber. So
what?
Yeah.
No.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate it.
I'm someone that just like walked through the airport at the beginning of the movie and no one paid attention to.
All right, let me stop sharing my screen and I'll get my other slideshow ready.
Let me see. Let me do this. Present. Oh, I guess I got to stop the other screen and share this one. I have my other. Get it together, StreamYard. You want us to pay double the money for crappy service? I don't think so. All right, let there be light.
Mm-hmm.
That is the hashtag. I'll pull that down and pop up the little banner here.
Beautiful.
While we go into.
Are you okay with me? Since I'm table 9, you're table 10. You okay with me throwing mine up first to kind of go through it?
Yes, your stuff is going to be more exciting because
I don't think so. So I'm going to lead off with first off, Jesse and I will be showing our stuff at our tables. We're also going to tonight be having kind of a discussion about mental awareness and how that relates to going into LegionsCon, coming out of LegionsCon, things like that. So we're going to be having a talk about that. But about a month ago or so, we had some folks on here. We had Mark Rivera, we had Brian C, we had Tanya McCoy, and my lovely wife Darla Ackerman on here, and they talked about all the things that they were going to have at our tables. So if you missed that or whatever, please go pull up that one, and that will show you the stuff that they will have, minus maybe a few things here and there that they've finished since then. But what Jesse and I are showing you tonight is just kind of what we will have at our tables. So starting off with mine,
this is Curtis, real quick. Sure. Just so you know, I'm going to step away. I can hear you. Just keep going. I'll be right back.
So this is the sticker one of the stickers that I'll have at my table. This is myself and my lovely wife Darla. Once again, we are at table 9 at LegionsCon, which is when you first walk in. So basically on the, I guess when you walk in, it'd be the left side of the room. You'll see kind of the Wolf King area, Patrick Boyle and Nate Armstrong here. You've got David Williams and Stephen Bisciotti, table 7. Table 8, you got a meal. And then when you get to table 9, that'll be my table. So that's Tanya, myself, and Darla will be at table 9. And then when Jesse gets going, he'll be table 10 here right on the corner. So, basically what we're going to be talking about tonight are these last 2 tables on the first row. So, so I'm starting off with some things that are not going to be for sale. So there's going to be some things I'm going to show you that I'll have, but they're not for sale. And then I'll go into some things that will be for sale. I'm going to first off just let everybody know that I am not bringing any painted heads. So I've got zero painted heads. There's not going to be a head rack. If you're hoping to get a head from me at LegionsCon, sorry, I'm not going to have that. I feel like there's a lot of folks that have done a great job of painting heads that they're bringing to LegionsCon this year. There's a lot of great options out there. And the price point that is about the same price point as what we're going to have for like Darla's capes and the dragons and stuff. So I felt like that was kind of overdoing it at our table for that price point. So I just didn't even focus on any heads. So throwing that out there. So this is the bust that is being offered at the Customizing Studio event on Friday night. That session is full. We opened that up. It was open for about 2 weeks. It got filled. We had a waiting list. We did convert the waiting list, and those people got in. But at this point, it is completely full. But everybody that is in that event will be getting an unpainted bust of this, which is, you know, kind of this torso with a tunic, and then the wolf head with the crown on it. And then it'll say LegionsCon 2024 Customizing Studio. The ponytail is not for sale. So this is a version of that bust that I painted up just so that folks that are going to that event can kind of see, you know, kind of what it looks like with some paint on it so that they kind of envision it. Now, this is not, it's not a paint by numbers thing where like everybody has to paint it the same way I did. This is just the version that I did. So just FYI. Next, I'm going to have a mixture of some older stuff and some newer stuff. Once again, this one is not for sale, but this is my office troll. I kind of updated him a little bit this year, gave him some pants. So he will be making the trip with me just because I think he's cute and I love him and I wanted him there with me. So, next, this is, Gradic, Hellsgrim. This is my D&D character for our Allegiance quest. If you haven't checked out Allegiance Quest yet, that's our D&D campaign that myself, Jesse, Nate Strong, Trevor Williams, and Joe Gonzalez do. It's over on the OffWorld channel. Yes, Jesse.
I would say for folks traveling to LegionsCon, any distance over a couple of hours, queue up either the audio podcast as well version of it and listen to it on your travels.
Yeah, we've completed 10 episodes. We are not going to do another one till after LegionsCon. It is a great time for you to catch up. If you haven't been through it or haven't been listening, it's a great time to catch up. I will say that Joe, who's our DM, is very experienced. Jesse is very experienced. The rest of us are not. So we are very much learning on the fly. It is set in Mythos, roughly, and we're having a really good time. So check that out. But this is the D&D character that I made for that campaign. He will be on display at LegionsCon. I don't know what table yet. I don't know where we're putting these customs, but at some spot in LegionsCon, whether it's on Trevor's table or mine or Jesse's or somewhere, we will have these set up together at some point. So once again, that's not for sale. This is another one that will not be for sale, but I will be bringing. This is my Sir Jeramore. He is part of the God's Fire line. He's one that I had the parts for a long time, but I couldn't envision how to make it work the way that I wanted to. And sometimes if you don't have that, you just gotta wait, and then something will happen and it comes together. So when we were at MuskeeCon, I know we had seen some things with some customs that some folks had done, especially with some flame effects. And I really thought that was cool. And I think that was the ones that Ange did, right? Yeah. And so she had said that she kind of used some hot glue and kind of made these like flame effects and then painted them. And I thought it looked really awesome. So I decided, you know, the based on the storyline of Sir Jeramore, where he really was a good guy, but he's allowed this demon to kind of take hold in part of his body so that he could use the demon's powers to save his friend. And every time that he uses the demon's powers, he becomes more of the demon. So I just thought it would be cool to, you know, give him kind of a flaming cross on his shield, and on that demon side, give him one wing and kind of use the Thygar arm. And, you know, when I decided on those parts, it finally started coming together. But this is one that I've had been working on, completing for a couple years, and I really want to keep this in my collection. So once again, not for sale, but it will be on display there. And this is, I think this is the last one that's not for sale. This is one that I did for the D13 when they were raising money for breast cancer research. And this was actually my first custom that I did with an airbrush. So this is majority of this, all the pink parts on this were airbrushed. The other parts were not. And this is actually owned by Van. He was the one that bid on it blindly. So there were, I think we had 6 customs in there. 5 of them had pictures. 1 was a blind. You had to, pay for it blind and hope that it was something cool. And he paid for it without seeing it. And this is what he ended up getting. So this will be at my table for display, but Van will be leaving with that when it's done. And then I believe now we start getting into the stuff for sale. First one is my repainted slog with the what do they call this head? It's like the
something beast.
Yeah, the Demarchian beast or something. Because it's Walter DeMarco did that head. The cannon arm thing there is a piece from Stefan Delator that I got at LegionsCon last year. And then just, added some chains, did a full repaint on the slog, and was really happy with this one. So this one will be available. I do believe that somebody, aka Wholesome Warlock, has placed dibs on this, but this one will be sold at LegionsCon. We'll say that. Next, we've got this is my Billy from the God's Fire Mud Thumps line. This will also be for sale. And this was my little tribute to Rick Allen from Def Leppard. And so this whole set, the drum set, as well as the platform that he's on, which is one of those turntables that Noah Pratt had made that goes on the electronic ones you can get from like Amazon and stuff. So the platform itself, like the turntable cover, the drum set, the drummer, all of that will be in for sale in one set. So,
and to be clear, just in case anyone didn't understand, not the turntable, just the cover.
Just the cover. Yeah, you would have to buy your own turntable to go with it. But this is kind of the cover that goes over top of it. And if you have the turntable underneath, then it will spin, with them on top. So next, and I just saw this from Saba that this set is actually getting ready to get retired. This is the Damascus Prince set from Planetary Dog Toys. So if you wanted to paint your own, I guess it's available now, and it's getting ready to be retired. But this is a version that I did a couple years ago, and this one will be available at my table.
I don't think that's who that was.
No. This is actually one of my first customs, and I really like this one. I've really kind of toyed with whether I should sell this the last couple of years. I decided I'm gonna put it up for sale if somebody wants it, for whatever price. I haven't decided on prices, which why there's none of that in here. But this is like a little witch doctor orc that I put together, and I think it was maybe like my 3rd or 4th custom that I did when I got in the line. But I've always liked this, but it will be available. Next, we've got Lord Bushati, the Alpha Midlife Crisis. This will also be available with motorcycle. So if anybody's wanting a motorcycling Lord Bushati.
When you posted this or shared the pictures of this originally, like, it blew me. The detail you got on the jeans and his tattoo, and just you always do great work, but this one, like, definitely is a standout.
I appreciate that.
Not because of the motorcycle, like the custom that you did to it.
I will say that the toughest part was definitely trying to get that tattoo right. I looked at a lot of pictures of that tattoo that David Williams did, and then drew it with a micro pen, and then painted over the micro pen just to make sure that, because I always worry about how long micro pens will actually last, even if you seal it. So I painted over it, and I was happy with how that came out. But I really appreciate that, Jesse. So
I'm going to bring up a comment real quick. Endless Fables, who's the one who did the photo a couple weeks ago with the AWOC figures with the flag. I believe he actually makes those flags. It was one of the banners for the factions or affiliate. I don't forget what they're called in AWOC. But he said, thank you for showing all of this. I have never been to a LegionsCon, and most videos go so fast at the show you can't see things for sale. I guess people doing like the tours and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's just cool. So thanks for watching and check it out, and we'll see you at the show.
absolutely. And yes, I saw somebody say this is an Indian bike. Yes, that is what Lord Bushati chooses as his bike of preference, is an Indian. So next, so this is the only shot that I've got of this guy, and once again, this is one of the early ones that I did. But I basically took a Hulk Ragnarok figure and repainted it. I think that's a planetary dog toy head on there, and then a modified helmet from Archimedes, and made him kind of into this like Fury Ogre, the one in the back. So he will be available. It's not Legion's parts, and it's one of my earliest paint jobs, so it's not what I would consider to be the best, but it's just one that I don't feel like I need in my collection anymore. The price is going to be much lower on this one than probably most of my other customs. Just to kind of move this on, if anybody's interested in a big red ogre to throw in the back of their collection. So
awesome.
This one is a fire mage that I did last year. Darla had done this kind of dio piece for it underneath. That's this like molten lava and the rock and stuff, and then I created this like fire elemental, which I believe is a actual D&D piece that I painted up, and he's supposed to be like really huge, but at this scale it looks like a smaller elemental. But I will be selling this whole set, so the dio piece itself with the molten lava, the fire elemental or the lava elemental, and then the mage will be as well. And the mage, you may or may not be able to see that, but on his pauldrons, the runes in there are actually like engraved. So I used a Dremel and engraved those runes and then painted them to kind of glow a little bit. So yeah, this whole set here will be available for sale. This is who I call Lucky. This is my the leprechaun head that was from the Euro Legion boys that they did. And I just decided I wanted to make him into kind of like this bare knuckle boxer. And so yeah, I just put it together, and I think it's kind of cool looking. Decided to make him a Duragar, and that one will be available. The other head that was from the
heads before other people.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you pay $20 for their Patreon. That's what, they get you something, I guess. So this is the other head that they have available that will be at their table. I know John's got a few of these painted up, and when I saw this head, I immediately saw Parademon from DC Comics, and so I wanted to kind of recreate that using only mythic and cosmic parts, with the exception of the head itself. So the trick was really, the wings were the big part, because it's like, how do I make wings that look techie without, just using like the bird wings or the demon wings that we have. And so I had this idea to actually use those shields, like from the Walter cosmic figure, and I cut parts of them off and attached them to the back part of that in a way that to make them into the wings. And then the gun is a Sphexian gun that I kind of trimmed some of the more insect looking pieces off of it and kind of streamlined it a little bit to make it work with them. So this one, I was really happy with how this came out. I know it's kind of more of an obscure character from DC Comics. It's not, like, Batman or Superman, but when I saw that head, it was just like, I knew I had to make this. So
I love when you get a part and you just immediately know what you want to do with it. And yeah, that's awesome. And that turned out great.
Hold on. I think I got to go back now. Can I just go view slideshow? No, it's not going to let me go back. Wait, let me see if I try the arrows. Yep, there you go. Okay, so there was that one. And here we go. Okay, so here's the like zombie pirate guy that I did. So this does have a little They call it a fishing bobber LED inside that lantern. So it's not just like a painted glow effect, like it does actually light up. And then Darla made that sash across his waist for me. So that is a one-of-a-kind sash that she put together. She said if people are interested, it wasn't that bad for her to do. She could probably make those up for a decent price, but I wasn't sure how interested people were. So if that's something that people are interested, let me know. Maybe we'll do something like that down the road. And then that's the Marley coat with the peg leg and the head from Wolf King, and so that'll be available.
Awesome. I didn't know those LEDs came that small.
Yeah, they've got really, really tiny ones that work for that. So, and this is a leprechaun that I did before the Euro Legions head. This is using the gnome parts from Wolf King and a head that they have at Wolf King for a leprechaun. So I made this guy, and this was one. People know I don't like the horses. I'm not a horse guy. I'm also not a centaur guy. Centaurs are not my favorite. So I had one centaur, I had one Apharius, and I was trying to get rid of it. Jesse took it, and when he did, I was like, "Hey, do you need the pauldrons, or can I keep the pauldrons?" Because I knew I wanted to try something with them because it's just a unique piece, and I wanted to do something. I didn't know what at the time, and he said, "Yeah, you can go ahead and keep the pauldrons." And when I was putting this little gnome together, I was like, "Oh, this guy would look ridiculous with those big giant." Brute scale pauldrons on him. And then I put them on and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. It's cool looking. So then I just kept it. But so this guy will be available as well. Then we've got my space orc. He's got some parts from the Charbot that Brian made. He's got a lot of cosmic parts in there. I think that gun is from a McFarlane figure. And then that head is a new one that Emil did this year. He did an orc with kind of a cybernetic eye and stuff, which you can't see based on the way that this is turned. But yeah, this one will be available. And then you have, I know there's going to be a lot of these at LegionsCon. I know Brian has showed a picture where he had like a whole army of these things. But this was my version of kind of a gladiator crab. And Darla made that little net for me. And this one will be available.
Crabiator.
Yep. This is my Frost Bull. This will be available, but I'll let people know right now, like the price on this is going to be pretty high. And the reason is that I had another one of these like ogres with the Tauren parts. And last year I sold it and I totally regretted it. And I had to chase these parts down because they're old MAFC parts and you can't get them anymore. So it will be for sale, but the price is going to be high because I really don't want to sell it. So somebody's going to have to really want this more than me in order to take it off my hands. Just FYI. And then I do have one more after this, but this is kind of the set for the Lord of the Rings tribute that I did, the Oliphant. So here is the driver. Then you've got an archer that goes in the back. Then you've got the Oliphant himself. And then this is kind of the overall picture. And this thing is like really huge. So that body is a troll body bent down with, kind of on, instead of, having two legs and two arms, we attached two more legs to it. And it's over with that head. And then this big tall piece on top. That's every part of this, with the exception of the head sculpts, is mythic parts. There's nothing else in here. And the twine, obviously, but everything else, like the soft goods, is the headless horseman cape. You've got, parts from spears in there, parts from standards. You've got the like log rolls that go underneath the carriage. That's all like the troll handles, like for their weapons. You've got the fur on the back of the Oliphant is fur from a troll, like a waist piece from a troll. So it's just all, yeah, like I said, mythic parts. Even the little sash that one has on is actually from the Monkey King. So I took apart a few different figure obscuras and things like that for this. This one was a lot of work. So yeah.
This I can't wait to see this thing in person, just because I know how big those parts are, and I can't fully visualize it in the space. I'm usually pretty good at that. So you absolutely killed this custom, man.
It's probably, if you imagine how tall a troll is, it's probably, I wouldn't say twice as tall as that, but pretty close. So it's pretty big. And then the last thing I'm bringing is obviously a swig, because everybody should bring a swig, if not multiple swigs, to LegionsCon. This will start out at my table until the swig get together on Sunday, and then it'll go in with the other swigs. This will be for sale, so if somebody wants to purchase this, it'll be available, and then it'll be in the 1,000 swigs photo. So
awesome.
So that is everything I'm bringing. So once again, no heads. A lot of customs, some customs for sale, some customs not for sale. But in addition to that, we'll have the other stuff that we had mentioned before with the capes and dragons and stuff. And another thing that I didn't have pictured here, but we do have some shooting the shelf pins, and we've got some art by Ackerman pins available. You know, if you're making a purchase, we'll give you the pins for free. If you're not making a purchase, I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out something. So let me know. But if you're making a purchase, we'll get you a set of pins for free. I'll also give some to Jesse, and he can, do the same. If you're making a purchase from Jesse's table, you can get a shooting the shelf pin from him as well. So
I'm gonna pull all the caps off and glue them upside down to someone's chair.
There you go. That works. But that is my slideshow. So I was just looking to see, did anybody have any questions or anything that I need to address?
Everybody, I mean, feel free to look back, but there's a lot of people loving. I tried to pull some of the comments up while you were going through, and I apologize. My nose decided.
Oh no,
to,
you're fine. As long as there's not any
up.
question, I just didn't want to make sure I didn't want to leave anybody hanging.
I did see someone said they wanted to claim something. I don't know if they were just playing around, but you're not pre-selling any of this. You're saving this all for at the show, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And listen, this is not me. I'm not trying to shame anybody that does pre-sell anything. That's just not my gig. I feel like when I go to the show or people go to the show, I want them to be able to see stuff that they're able to actually buy. So, going there and seeing a table full of stuff that's really cool, and then you go, oh, I like that. Well, that's sold. That I like that. That's not available. That I like that. So yeah, we don't pre-sell anything. And if that irritates anybody or whatever, I'm sorry about that too. But yeah, it's just if you want something, come see us and go from there. But the full customs will be priced at the table. I don't have prices yet. I've got to really kind of think about it and look at it when I get to the show. But like I said, that Frost Ogre is definitely going to be in the higher price point. The Frost Bull and then the Oliphant is definitely going to be up there as well. But the rest of them I feel like are probably going to be in what I would consider the normal custom price range that you would see from some of the artists. So
very cool. Awesome. Kent, this is a good way to get kicked out of the channel and for me to never talk to you again.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Jesse's working very hard on a dio. So if you put anybody through his table and destroyed his dio after all the work he's doing, probably wouldn't go over well. Just saying.
Well, also, I've got two other people
that's true too. Yeah.
Their full display. So it's not as much about my stuff as it is about other people at my table.
For sure. We want to take a look at that drawing and then we'll get into your stuff.
Cool. So this is again for two of the Carver Custom LegionsCon exclusive lamp light up lanterns that you showed earlier. Hashtag is let there be light. We got 32 of 47 folks.
Did want to pull this up. I'm not sure what this means, but Wholesome Warlock says stop by the PGG Cabal table for more free Jesse and Curtis swag. So I don't know what that means. That's very cryptic. It could be good, could be bad. But yeah, we don't know what
I
that
imagine.
is. So
I know they had some stickers. There was
maybe
like
that's it. Maybe it's stickers. Who knows?
Maybe
I know last year people showed up and then Lynn had like the coins. There's a bunch of obviously Cabal t-shirts. Who knows? They're gonna have some surprises there, I'm sure. So that's definitely a table you want to check out anyway. But if anybody at that table encourages you to do something illegal and tell them that Shooting the Shelf sent you, I'm going to let you know right now that's not going to get you out of trouble. So you can do it. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I don't know that it's an actual defense. So yeah.
Yes. Ken, the cherry tomatoes, that was a one and done thing for RetroCon. I'm not doing that again. It's a waste of food because I'm only going to eat 2 or 3 of them. And you got your videos and they squirted on somebody. So, you got that.
There you go.
Yes. Destination Stone got on a high authority that it will get you out of trouble. Well, I mean, something we don't then.
Yeah. And maybe it's a state thing. I don't know, so. All right. Do we want to pull that or we want to get into yours?
Yeah. Let's roll this wheel. Folks, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to enter. That's 3, 2, 1. Roll the dice or spin the wheel or click the button.
There it is.
Destination Stone.
Nice.
So just stop by. He didn't send it to you, right? He just sent you a picture.
No. He said pick it up at LegionsCon.
Okay. So make sure you stop by Carver Customs table at LegionsCon.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time I can say this without hesitation. Tell him Shooting the Shelf sent you to pick up your prize from the show.
Very nice.
That he
somebody clip that. It definitely need to clip that.
Oh, okay. Man, I don't know what's going on. My nose has just gotten all congested all of a sudden. I feel fine.
Tomorrow starts my 2-a-day vitamin C drinks, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Not because there's anything wrong with me, but it's this is LegionsCon. I can't afford to get sick. You got to start, start loading up on some vitamin C, some zinc, get some good stuff in you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Some 1.21 gigawatts.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Folks, I don't know about you out there, but I'm excited to see what Jesse's got because I have no idea. He hasn't shown me. I don't know what he's got. So this is gonna be fun.
I don't want to overhype it. I am going to be showing some of the customs that I've been teasing this past week or so. I am not showing my big dio. That is to be revealed at the show. And I'm not showing so most of the stuff I'm about to show is not for sale. I decided to go back to 2021 when I went to the first LegionsCon I went to, where it was mostly display. I mean, some people were selling stuff. I mean, there was enough stuff to buy that you could have bought stuff and been plenty happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided this year I wanted it to be more showcase presentation for the stuff in my take. Now, Brian and Mark are going to have tons of stuff for sale. Unpainted heads, customs, all sorts of stuff. I will have a bunch of painted heads. I didn't bother taking a picture of those because looking at a bunch of heads on the rack on this show is,
Real quick, I need you to remind me because I keep forgetting until I hear you bring up his name. I need you to remind me when we get there. I need to get some of his jetpacks, the jetpacks that he's painted up. So please help me remember that because I do not want to leave there and have forgotten that. So,
the red jetpacks.
Yes. Okay. Yes. They are amazing. So
yes. That's Brian. the CB make jetpacks.
Yeah.
Those are really cool. Those were pretty popular at RetroCon in Maryland. I think were the last 2 shows we had.
Dude, he
those
did
at
a perfect
multi-kit.
paint match. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And those were just the unpainted ones. So
Oh, gotcha.
that we had this show. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
got Brian's going to have a lot of stuff. So basically they're going to have the 8-foot table to split between them. And I'm going to I have a little, since we're on the corner, I've got my little 4-foot table on the side. So my stuff will kind of be around the corner, like in the side aisle almost.
So does that mean you're going to be further away from me? Is that intentional?
Well, you can't have you and Emil side by side and you and me side by side.
Okay.
Like that's.
I thought maybe it was just to kind of give us space in between so that I don't bug you while you're setting up. So.
No, I mean, it's going to be all of like 3 feet of extra distance. So.
Gotcha.
It's so I guess I can bring my slideshow up if I can.
It might help them to visualize it,
I forgot I had to take it down to put the other thing up, so I got to get back over to it. Okay. Whoop. All right. So LegionsCon, I guess I need to share it with this. I'm all kerfuffled. Yes. So just shelve it at table 10, LegionsCon 2024. Disrespectful down in the comments too. What's disrespectful? Did I disrespect you?
I don't know what happened.
Okay. So like Curtis said earlier, I'm right next to table 9 with Brian and Mark right here at table 10 right here on the corner. So I'll be on this side here in the corner.
Right next to one late night LeBron.
Yes. And nobody puts baby in the corner, but if I'm baby, then baby put baby in the corner. So moving on.
Okay.
First up is something I've been working on, and I made up this really fancy logo with Chef Meep. A little something I'm calling shelf seasoning because I have to brand everything, at least in my head. Look, my table, the setup's almost exactly the same as last year. Most of my stuff was on the side table anyway. Curtis was right there. Calm down, Jordan.
I gotta say, I like shelf seasoning. We're very early on in this presentation, but already it's starting very strong.
Now, I think you will like this because you commented earlier about one of the Dio pictures, the Rock with a Great picture, where it was just a little portion of a Dio. It wasn't like a huge thing. So I called these shelf seasoning because it was just something that add a little bit of flavor to your shelves. It's not a whole Dio. It's not going to fill up a DTOF, but it's just something to add a little bit to your bookshelf, whatever you've got your stuff on. So first up, so I've got figures side by side with these things just to show scale. So I don't have prices on this stuff. Most of the stuff is going to be pretty low end because it's pretty small. I am going to sneeze again. I apologize.
I'll be here, folks. While he's sneezing, I will be here talking about nothing but keeping the conversation going.
Sorry. I must be allergic to having fun customizing stuff.
Must be it.
All right. Apologies, folks. So this little segment of wall, you got some figures around it to see what it is. And it's the same on the other side. I don't know if there's, I can't remember. I don't think there's moss on the other side.
Is the seasoning the wall itself, or is the seasoning like the cilantro that's coming out of the wall?
There's no cilantro. I don't like cilantro.
I got to laugh with that one, just so you know.
Also known as, I believe also known as coriander.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
I like that top left one. That's cool.
Two little, I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see what I'm pointing at. So
actually, if you put it on your screen, we can see that.
Yeah. I meant I was pointing with my hand this time. Like it seems no matter what I do, I'm going to do the thing people can't see. Even when I do the thing people normally can't see that they can this time.
Yeah. If you point with your arrow, we can see it. Yeah.
So this one on the left and one on the right, two different I flip-flopped the pictures accidentally when I put the slide together. But just show scale, just some little things to add some life to
I
your
like that.
shelves. I really like that left one. I used
Mm.
a sponge, like a really dry sponge, like from the
Mhm.
model shop, to get that yellow look on that crusty one. I thought that was a really cool looking rock.
Mm.
Again, another real little one, just like a little single figure stand. Just trying to have some fun with colors and different rock textures and stuff. And
Mm.
again, like I said, some of these are just really basic, just to get some elevation on your shelves. If you don't want to have books or boxes or whatever you've got in there, just little things to help get stuff going. Man, I am so sorry.
You're fine. These would be really nice for like just toy photography in general.
Well, thank you. So I think if I count both of the rocks and the wall, there's, I believe, 10 total pieces of the shelf seasoning.
Hmm.
Different variety of stuff.
Ooh.
And just
Yeah, I like that a lot.
thank you. And they're all solid pieces. There's not like parts that come apart or anything. This one was just supposed to be like a what?
Brian says you're allergic to talking about your work.
Fair enough. And I think that was it. Okay, yeah, that's it for the shelf seasoning.
Lovely
Those
name,
are
lovely pieces. Great job.
thank you. Now those will all be for sale, figures not included. They were just there for scale and to make sure I could, if I needed to put their legs up and stuff, I could get them to pose on the right heights and stuff.
Hmm.
Next up is something I teased the other day, called the Sator Square or the Satyr Square. So this is an ancient word puzzle that goes back earliest days. I believe some of the earliest forms of it have been found back to all the way to Pompeii. So before Pompeii got wiped out by the volcano. 5 words. It reads, top to bottom, left to right, backwards, forwards, all that sort of stuff, right? So I based this off of one I saw a picture of from France, and it's something I've known about for a while, and I forgot about it. I saw the movie Tenet, totally forgot about it. Now I want to rewatch Tenet, having this in mind. But there's a group called Heilung. They're a German European band that does a lot of very kind of not folk singing, but it sounds like stuff like if you were ancient Romans coming into like Germany to like hunt the barbarians and go to war, like stuff that sounds like the barbarians might have been singing and chanting and that sort of stuff. And they do one song called Tenet, and there's a portion where they just repeat these 5 words over and over and over and over and over. All that to say, I got inspired listening to that song, thinking about these words, and I decided to do something a little more. Instead of like tribute characters to existing properties and stuff, I was like, let's be a little more artistic with this. And I decided to like personify these 5 words into five figures. So first up, in order that I have them here, is Sator, who is usually the word, I believe, is like the sower or the seeder. So someone like planting, bringing things to life. So I made this kind of critter character with a modified Krotos head, Monkey King hands, Anubis feet, and essentially a dwarf buck. And you can't see him in the hand, but I made little sculpted seeds in his hand, and that's supposed to be what he has in his pouch there. Is seeds to like plant, and so he uses his walking stick to yes.
Where's the satchel from?
The satchel, I'm going to be disappoint someone. I cannot remember his name. He gave it to me at LegionsCon last year. He was walking around and he was just giving them out. I don't think he had a table. I know I talked about it after the show last year, but I didn't.
It's
I
super
forgot
cool.
to go back. It's really cool. The little button on the clasp, like it'll open up.
Oh, nice.
And I had it on a different figure, and when I started putting this guy together, I was like, oh, that needs to go on him. And originally he was going to be kind of green and brown tones, and then I really liked that blue uh, uh, Samir cape
Mhm.
on him. So I figure, things being planted need water. So he's got the little gourd and the blue, so to represent life and water and planting and all that stuff. Okay, does
Very cool.
that work? I don't know why I said
Yeah.
okay. Yes. Up next is a repo. Now this is one of the words that has not fully been. No one really knows what a repo means. Like at least in the stuff I've looked up and read about it, it's kind of the one that's most undecided on its meaning. So I thought, all right, I'll make a female character. She'll be, like a shaman or something, and she's bringing fire, so she's bringing like light out of the darkness. And it's a mix of Bastet and some other pieces. Ahead from is um, Immortal Collections.
Okay.
And I took a Tuscan Raider robe, dunked it halfway into water, got it wet, and then kind of did it does like a gradient fade from the dark green up, and same to the Bastet soft goods. And then I glued some of the.
That is impressive.
Thank you.
I like that. I like that idea.
So I put the green tones on her, and she's got like not tribal, but like face paint on her and stuff. And she's an elf.
What,
It's an elf head.
I'm sorry. Did you use like food coloring or something, or how did you?
No, I used Rit dye.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I just took I took one of the Mythic Legion tridents,
Mhm.
and I put it in a cup, but I like lifted that up so it was only like partially submerged. So
Gotcha.
as the water soaked up, it thinned out into the stuff that had already soaked.
See,
Um,
and I don't mean to take us off course, but
yeah.
we've got all these like new soft goods that are coming. Like there's with especially Necronominus, there's like all these great soft goods, the new Templars and stuff, and they're just so bright and clean and perfect. And I know some people are going to want to try to change it. Like you don't see a lot of customizing of soft goods yet. I think that's something that we're probably going to see more of over the next couple of years as those waves come out. And I think this is kind of a cool idea to, take something like that and change it up just a little bit. And it adds a lot of depth to it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I was really struggling with the body because originally I had like Thrace parts on there. I was like, wait, I have a Bastet I can use, and she's got soft goods
Mm-hmm.
instead of having to paint the armor, because I wanted her to not be naked, but like as little armor and like bulky
Right.
metal stuff on her. So I even took off the only metal she still has her are the armbands that are sculpted onto the upper arms. And the knife is from a Dune McFarlane figure. But yeah, so yeah, she's kind of the unknown. So I just thought I'd make her a little more, unique, different. I'm not sure what word I'm looking for here, but yeah. And I just thought her carrying a torch would be fun.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah. So the third one, and just so not to get anyone upset, because I know, I myself am a religious person, but this is just a artistic expression. This one is tenet, which means belief, or something that. So to me, I wanted to do a figure that represented someone that was shackled by the chains of dogmatic belief. So not necessarily a good faith, but like the stuff that weighs you down. And as at least that's what came together as I was putting these parts together. So it's a modified Poxus head. It's mostly a gold elf soldier underneath there with 2.0 skeleton feet and hands from, I don't remember who the hands are from. And just a bunch of different stuff cobbled together, different robes from like Dune figures, Star Wars figures, the loin pieces from that King Shazam from McFarlane. But yeah, just a lot of fun putting this creepy little dude together.
It's cool.
So that's the next one is
Mm.
opera, which does not mean opera in the form of like singing, but opera in to mean like great works or, you know, something like that. So this is a repainted uh, uh, Tharnog with the Frankenstein's creature waist piece and a Wolf King Customs head, and he's got his big hammer because, you know, he's doing great work. So he's like the big brute scale barbarian worker guy of the group.
Carlos says Curtis and steroids. That's awesome. Where's that hammer from?
Oh, the hammer is also from Wolf King, I think.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I like that. I don't think I've seen that before.
I think that's where it came from. I don't know. If it's not Wolf King, I don't know where it came from.
Okay. It's an awesome hammer, though. I like it.
Yeah. I actually just finished him up today. So the hammer and the head I finished today. And the last one is Rotas, which means wheel or turning. So I just thought, you know, the inevitable march of death. So why not have an undead skeleton? And since this was Roman, I tried to do the color scheme based off of like a Roman soldier. The plume is like a purple. The head is Wolf King. The shoulder is Wolf King. The cape is actually from Shira from Masterverse. I just ripped off the collar piece and plugged it into the port. And you can't really see it in this picture, but there's that metal sword I was talking about from Chucky's Geek Spot. The one that he made out of metal is tucked into the hilt there, or the holster on the side of the belt there.
I love that head from Wolf King. Like it's very challenging to paint as is, but it's rewarding to paint because it's cool because it's like he merged two sculpts together. There was he bought these files, and he had one file that was like the skeleton head and one file that was like this helmet, and he like merged them together. But there's enough space underneath the helmet that you can like get under there to paint the skull, but it's very difficult to do. But sometimes like that, either intentionally or unintentionally, sometimes the plate on that helmet, because they're two separate pieces, will like break off. And I think it actually looks better when that happens sometimes. Like it looks like, because then it exposes the skeleton underneath, the skull underneath, and it just makes it look really cool. So I love how you did that there.
Well, it's interesting you say it, because like I did that because you told me about that, and I was like, I have that head. So I went over and I just cranked that thing right off, and I was like, that does look really cool.
It's a fun one for sure. I love what you did there.
Oh, thank you. And Patrick Boyle said that looks like a Toy Forge hammer, so I apologize.
Oh,
so that makes sense.
Gotcha.
That you would not have seen it or been as aware of it. But yeah, yep. So sorry, Toy Forge hammer.
Gotcha.
And I couldn't get it to crop, and I was really trying to get the slideshow together before we went live. So I didn't get it photoshopped properly, but there is the 5 of them on the dio I made for them. So again, these are not for sale. If they are, it's going to be a ridiculous price because I made these for me.
That's really cool though. I love the whole thing on the wall behind them and the story, and yeah, these came out great. Nice job.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of what's next. This might be the big reveal.
Wholesome Warlock says, Jesse, you have some absolutely dope customs you're bringing to the show.
Thank you, Jordan. So get ready, Curtis. Go ahead. Let's get it out of your system.
Nope. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Even with Darla, I've started saying it the right way.
So this is Hearthwood. This is something that's been kicking around in my head for a couple of months. Clearly you guys know I really like kind of the critter characters, the animals, that sort of thing. And I don't know why I chose. So this is clearly just a normal bull that's been like exaggerated, or a cow that's been exaggerated, but it was meant to be, in my mind, it's an aurochs, AUROCHS, which is a prehistoric bull. They're usually a little bit bigger. And I just thought of this giant bull being kind of this guardian of this hidden forest, uh not city, but like realm. Um and so that's the logo. I believe I have stickers coming for this.
Mm.
Um and oh, nice, Humblewood. I keep seeing that stuff that looks really cool. It's a so here's my interpretation with stuff I could find of the Oryx. So this was a thing that Dirk found for me. It was from Hobby Lobby. So it's this giant like ceramic bull, uh, Highlander cow, and I repainted it black and went in and did the purple highlights on it. And um, so that's just meant to be as close of a representation as I could get without sculpting something completely original, which I wouldn't do. And for those of you who have been following my Smythe story, this is meant to be Brigid, the Oryx he gets in that story, but much later in her life when I haven't figured out how she gets here to be the guardian of this place, but that happens at some point. And now moving on to the new character. So this is I'm not going to go through all the names, but this was the bear head was from, and the torso is a chest plate from Noble Bear Customs. The shield is from Planetary Dogs. Feet from Wolf King. The arms and the shoulder piece are from a Jackalman figure from, I think that was, I don't know if that was Mattel or Super 7. I don't remember which one it was, but I'll have bios and all that stuff written up, but I'm not going to take the time to read all of that stuff here. But this is the one of the characters from Hearthwood. Here's the next one. I wanted to go a little. For some reason, I know Dennis Derby likes birds. I don't know if that includes ducks. But since this custom set, this assassin build had the duck head, and I also have the hooded one. I just didn't take a picture of it. I was like, what? I kind of wanted to do the head with like red feathers. Because like green or white or black, it just feels so. I almost did blue because I was thinking of Billy Madison. I've never seen a blue duck before.
You just want to see it, yeah.
I just wanted to see.
It's an excellent red duck.
I looked it up. It is a duck, North American duck called the redhead, and I based off of that. And I just thought it was fun. In my mind, he's just a duck, and who kind of Darkwing Duck vibes, where he thinks he's a badass superhero at nighttime.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that weapon that he's wielding there?
So the hook, I believe the hook, again, someone correct me if I'm wrong. The hook, the knives came with, and he also came with like a grappling gun, or I didn't do the gun, but like that grappling hook piece I liked, so I just attached like one of the chains from the Walmart craft section. I used like a paper clip and bent it around the ring on the hook, and so he's just got that long length of chain wrapped around his arms just so it doesn't keep falling off. And then he's got like the two daggers in the sheath on the back.
That's awesome.
I thought about doing rope. I think I don't know if it was in the customizing studio. I was going to put like rope or like a small type of thread on it, and which makes more sense for a grappling hook, but they were like, but the chain would just look cooler on a figure. So I went.
Yeah, I've got like a whole like plastic container just of like different lengths and depth, like size chain. And yeah, I love anytime that you can incorporate like actual metal into the figures. I think it just really makes it look cool.
Awesome. So the forearms, the shins, the feet, the head, the daggers in the sheath, and the hook are all 3D custom. It's just the arms, the upper legs, and the neck. Nope, the neck's part of the torso. So everything that has the articulation built into it is studio. Up next, this is a set I called the Twins, even though they're not identical. It's a brother and sister team of rabbits. The first one is the one on the left is a flocked one I did almost 2 years ago. I finally finished him, and I did the female with green fur. I didn't flock her like I did him, but I wanted to do green fur because I've seen green rabbits, and I wanted to do my take on a green rabbit.
Well, it's an excellent green rabbit, and you just passed the first grade.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Lippy.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, they. I got to figure out something. I got to try the heat shrink trick on the feet joints because they do not want to stay on their feet,
Mm.
even with sticky tack shoved in there. Great, yeah, Jackson or Bucky, but you know. Up next is another set of two of the same, but these are the goats. This is Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, also known as Thor's goats. And they're brothers, but one's a little more formal with the metal shield and the metal tipped horns and hooves and everything. The other one's a little more wild, with the wooden shield and the bent horns and the big club mace thing. So yeah, these guys are just a lot of fun.
Tell us about that mace topper, because that thing is wild.
So that is a Wolf King piece. It is on the hammer. I broke the hammer off of regular Legions, like the dwarf hammer, like the bulky hammer, and just shoved that on there and glued it on. And I believe it was intended to go with the porcupine because of the spikes that Wolf King did. But my porcupine was an archer, so I was like, "What am I going to use this for?" So it looks like it's a log with all these like I don't know if it's a log with spikes coming out of it. I don't know, but that's the way I painted it. It was supposed to look like a piece of like log or wood with all these different bits of wooden spikes coming out of it.
That's cool. I like the two-tone color choice on the shield too. Makes it pop.
Oh, thank you. So their armors are inverted. So one's purple with gray highlights and the other one's gray with purple highlights. This is not a great picture. I'm not trying to be Trevor or any of the awesome photographers out there. Other than the one on the right has soft goods, arms and legs, and the other one is armor. And their horns and their hooves are different, but like the rest of the build is the same. And obviously their weapons are different, but I just inverted everything on the colors.
Very cool.
And I tried to I couldn't get it quite square. My hand's not that steady, but I tried to give them the rectangular eye pupils in their eyes, which you should be able to see that better in the in person at the show.
Oh, wow.
So again, not a great photo, but this is something I had that bat head from Mayfek, and I wasn't sure what to do with it. I didn't want to just do the typical like Mythic Legions vampire, the white gray with the purple undertones and stuff. I was like, I kind of want to do it like a flying fox, even though I know it's biologically that head sculpt is meant to be a vampire bat. But the flying fox, I just love that bright orange like head and neck piece, so I used the Taurian shoulders. And painted it with like a rust effect. So it's kind of got like it's not fuzzy, but it's got a different effect to it. So it would look different in texture from the rest of the bare body.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looks like it's flocked.
It does have a fuzzy feel to it because it's an effect paint.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So again, he'll look much better in person. And those were Varg wings and Shadow Orc Grunt arms and legs with I think a Xenothon body that I repainted black and tried to do some of the brown tones to it.
What did you use again on there that you said was the effect paint?
It's called Dry Rust. I believe it's
Dry
a Vallejo.
Rust. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I just tried to keep with like the browns, the yellows, and blacks to keep it kind of because I was doing this last week last week, leading up to Halloween. So Halloween colors were in my head. And all these characters are good guys. Like none of these guys are evil. He might have different weapons once I figure out his story better. but I just thought him wielding 2 axes was a fun like counterpoint to the unknown one.
Oh,
With
absolutely.
his thing. So up next is, so these guys took so much time, and this photo looks like absolute garbage. So everybody's, not everybody, but you know, the glossy red, that cherry, glossy cherry red that people have been doing
The
to match
Tamiya,
the, yeah.
Tamiya
I
clear.
was like,
Yeah.
I want to do that, but in blue.
Mm.
So I found Tamiya blue, clear blue. I went to the local shop, they had it, and I tried to do the same way I did the red, candy red, on these armadillos from Wolf King, and the tails and the head, the unhelmeted head, are from Brian C. And you can't see the tails on the back ones, but they all have the same tail. They all have the same feet from Wolf King, and the armored heads and pauldrons are from Wolf King. And I did like identical builds on the 2 guards. I broke one of the face plates off a little bit on the one, so it would look, so I would have a distinguishing feature on them. But I painted them with a Tamiya silver first, and then went and did that blue gloss over it, and it took forever.
Mm.
And I
Yeah, that
wanted this
stuff's
guy
not
in.
easy to paint with. Plus, you can get really like lightheaded smelling that stuff.
That might be part of my problem right now. But yeah, I thought it would be just fun to have a couple, you know, because I saw those parts and I'm like, oh, I need to have 2 guards, and I saw the unpainted head, or the unhelmeted head, from Brian at CB Make, and I was like, oh, you know, he'll be like the ambassador or like a dignitary of some sort, so he's got a satchel. And I did the same blue effect on him, but I left his armor be the darker gray overall, so he would be a standout from them. Yeah, so they'll be all there as well. And the topper is just the mace on I forget whose staff that is, or if I glued it or whatever, but yeah. And the armadillo, the guards, they both have the blue swords from Mephitor on their backs, because that blue matches the blue pretty well.
Mm.
And I think that might be it for the Hearthwood stuff. Now this next slide is, oh no, I still have one more. So this is one of my D&D characters, but I'm going to put him in with Hearthwood
I
because
love that.
I'm retiring him from the campaign. And I just thought that would be a good place for him to go. So this was my Froglock Druid, and he'll be joining the rest of the folks in Hearthwood.
That's a super awesome pattern on him. I love that.
Thank you.
That's cool.
So that's a Gimli waist piece from Lord of the Rings Diamond Select. Queel from Star Wars Black Series, collar with a backpack, modified staff with antlers off of a bronze dwarf. And I believe the feet are, I was corrected, they are action figure fusion. I don't remember who I got them from, but it's action figure fusion. And I believe that head is a Wolf King head.
That's awesome.
Oh, hey, it's in there twice. This last one, I don't know if I'm going to get to any of these. Time is running out, and I've got a lot of other stuff to finish up. I will hopefully have at least 1 or 2 to start this off. For folks who know what Homestar Runner is that something you're familiar with, Curtis?
Is that the people that did the Trogdor?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have the parts. I have the builds. Everything is planned out. I just have run out of time to put them together. But I will at least over the next couple of months, start building my Homestar Legions team. Hopefully I'll have a couple at the show, but I don't know.
Very nice.
But I made this logo and I put it in the slideshow and forgot to take it out. So, yeah, so I've got the main 12 characters and Trogdor all planned out.
Ooh, nice.
Just need to put them together and
Just need a beefy arm in the back of his neck like that.
Yep, I've got it all built out. Just need to make them happen.
Nice.
And I think that's it.
Sweet. So, got a little bit of time left. I know we promised people we were going to talk a little bit about mental health. So just kind of a little bit before the con, during the con, and then after the con. So, I know both of us have kind of talked about, some issues with anxiety, different things in the past. I struggled with a panic disorder for many years. And the first time I went to LegionsCon, I was really nervous about just going and being around other people. And then once I got there, like all of that melted away. But, before LegionsCon, I know a lot of us are, getting things finished up, trying to make sure we remember to pack everything. Some of us are traveling via plane, some are traveling via car. We got to make sure that we've got, all of our hotel reservations in order and, got our schedule on when we're going to do things. So I think it's important just to, make sure as you're going through all this whirlwind of stuff that like this only happens once a year. So make sure that you're appreciating, like don't stress yourself out so much trying to get down to the wire, trying to do every last little bitty thing that you miss out on, kind of what's going on around you in the time frame of the year that we're in. Because and I'll say this to Jesse right now, and I know Noah was talking about this morning, and anybody else that may be listening, if you don't finish one more thing between now and LegionsCon, people are still going to be very excited to see you. They're going to be very excited to see all the stuff that you're bringing and just hang out with you. So keep that in mind. Everything's good. We're all good. So I want to throw that out there from beforehand, but any advice that you have for people like leading up to the con first off?
Well, I think that's great advice. And while, yes, I am pushing myself last minute, I like this crunch time. I'm not stressing myself out like I did last year.
Okay.
Like
Good.
I enjoy the crunch. Some stuff's just taking longer. Like that blue just took so much longer than I wanted it to. But yeah, I think that's great advice. And, obviously I don't have a family, but like you said, don't be so absorbed in stuff that you're missing out on what's going on around you. Like, especially if you have family and people at home that you spend time with, like, because 100%, yeah, people are going to be excited to see you. I mean, for some people, you're hoping to make some money on this to help cover the cost of the trip or whatever. So you want to have enough stuff to do it. Like, nothing wrong with all that stuff. But hopefully this is something most of us are doing because it's fun and we enjoy it. As far as vendors go, as far as the vendor side, exhibitor side, that's why I wanted to do most of my stuff as presentery and not for sale. So like, if I don't get stuff done, I've got my heads and those little dio pieces and stuff that I'll have for sale. But I want to just be there, be in the moment, and just enjoy. Like I can't wait to clock out Wednesday and get in my car and start driving. And granted, I only have 3 hours to go, so yeah.
You may want to have another piece of advice for people leading up to the convention. Like maybe make sure you remember to bring your wallet. Might be
I had my wallet. I deposited cash in the ATM as I left work to hit the road to go get Sean. It wasn't until I was at Sean's house 20 minutes later that I realized I left my card in the ATM
your card,
machine.
Yeah.
And I just said ATM machine in the device.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So don't do that, people. Don't leave your card somewhere. There's certain have-tos. If you forget a custom, you forget a painted head, not the end of the world. You forget your card. That's a little rough. So How about during the event? I'll kind of get it kicked off. I know a big one for me, something I struggled with the first year, and I made sure I did last year, is get enough sleep. I know it's very tempting when there's folks out there that are just Iron Men that can stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning to just stay up the whole time and not get any sleep. But especially if you're running a vendor table and you've gone through setup, and at the end of the con, you're gonna have to go through teardown, and you're gonna be like have to be on the whole time, talking to people, interacting, and all this and that. You need to make sure you get some sleep. For me, it's at least 5 hours. I gotta get 5 hours sleep. That's the minimum. But I'm not telling you what the number is for you, but whatever that number is, make sure that you set some sort of time for yourself where you're like, hey, by this time, I definitely got to be in bed so that I'll be able to enjoy the next day.
Yeah. Good sleep is a great plan, especially as a vendor leading up to the show as well. Like I've
Mhm.
made sure, like I'll get in the zone painting and I'll just sit here, and it could last year, I think I worked till like 3, 4 in the morning sometimes and would have to get up a couple hours later for work. So this year I made sure, I think the latest I've stayed up was maybe like 1:30. And
Mhm.
that was cleaned up, getting into bed between 1:30, not still working 1:30. So um just because I got to be at work at 9:30 every morning, which is not super early, but it's early for like I'm not good in the mornings. Shows are different, conventions are different because I'm excited to be there.
Right.
Um, but
What
yeah,
else
sleep
during the
is
con?
good during the con. Water.
Another good one.
Um, yeah, it's okay to drink other stuff too, but make sure you're drinking enough water. Like science goes back and forth on how much you're supposed to drink, and all. I'm not going to tell anybody, like you said, with your sleep, how much you got to.
Yep.
At least a couple glasses or a couple of bottles of water a day. Uh, and
Mhm.
eat something that's not just junk food.
And I will say, as far as the eating goes, they make it pretty easy. Like you don't need to leave the hotel. They've got
Oh,
a
sure.
nice breakfast in the morning. I mean, it's like $20, but it's a very nice breakfast. They've got the little sandwich station throughout the day. They've got the stuff at the pub. Like you don't have to go anywhere to eat. You just need to make sure that you make time to do it.
Yes.
Is the main thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Eat something. That stuff out there is good. If you don't want to spend money on that, and you want to bring stuff, like have
that's
some
cool too.
like
Yep.
some snacks are fine, but like just don't be eating candy and stuff all day. I'm
Yeah.
talking to myself, not just
Yep.
other people. Um, you know, have a variety, and be aware there's quite a few people at this show probably who have different food allergies.
Mhm.
We learned last year that one of my table partners is very allergic to nuts. Uh,
Mhm.
so be careful what you're but yeah, have some snacks, have water, good sleep. Something I always forget to do, this isn't so much mental health, but it could be. um you were saying, like, be in the moment and take stuff in, like take photos
Mm. Yeah.
with people, take
Yep.
photos with, like, be in photos with people.
Yeah, just take some
If you
selfies. Like
you
people
know
come up to your table or whatever and just like, "Hey, let's
yeah,
grab a photo real quick." Yeah.
yeah. Every time you drink a bottle of water, D Amazing posts as a figure.
Yeah, that sounds about
um
right.
yeah. um but yeah, like take the time, especially if you're a vendor. And I know this is really hard for the folks at Four Horsemen Studios themselves, with all the stuff they're prepping for us for GCon, just as the wave itself,
Mhm.
on top of, like you say, with intern and bringing us into their home, and then showing everything, and then running the table, and this whole armory experience that's new, and all of this stuff. um and Jeremy and Joe running the show,
Mhm.
and what that takes just to put on the show, let alone having Jeremy having those other hats that he wears that we talked about last week with him. It's easy to get overwhelmed and just get bogged down by everything, but like try to at least take a couple moments each day, just a couple minutes, and just stop, look back, and appreciate what's going
Take
on,
it
even
in.
if just
Yeah.
just time out for 2 or 3 minutes if you can.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and to tag on to that, like I know from Friday through Sunday, if you look at the schedule, it is very intimidating. Like like Jeremy's like, okay, on this minute you're gonna go take a piss, and then 3 minutes later you're expected to be here, and then 3 minutes like he's got the whole thing laid out. But just keep in mind, you don't have to do everything, number one. And just make sure you make some time in that for just being there and just taking it in, being in the moment, create those memories. Those are what's going to make you through for the next 12 months. So,
yeah. And that's what I was trying to say, that as far as like the mental health side of it.
yeah.
Because I mean, we could get into, like showering and deodorant, which you should do all that stuff, and just common courtesy.
Yes.
Don't be dicks in the lobby or in the
Mm-hmm.
hotel. We want them to continue to like us and have
Mm-hmm.
us come back as long as we fit there. So be cool, clean up after yourself, don't be too obnoxious.
I've got another one for during the event, and that
Yeah.
is to take some time to talk to some folks that you don't normally talk to. It's real easy. Like if let's say that you've got a cluster of like 5 of your really best friends, right? And you don't get to see them other than LegionsCon, or maybe you only see them 2 times a year. And it's real easy to just kind of fall into just hanging around those folks throughout the whole convention. And that's great. You get to see them, you get to take it in, you get to experience that. But there's a whole bunch of folks out there that are really awesome that maybe you haven't spent some time with. Maybe it's somebody that you've only talked to a few times in PMs. Maybe it's somebody that you've admired their work from afar, or just somebody that you just haven't really got to know that well. Take a little bit of time each day and just talk to somebody that you don't normally talk to. Who knows? You may make a new best friend. So
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, this isn't like a normal toy convention or Comic-Con or something. Like this is very, there's other toy lines there, there's other companies there, but like this is mostly for Legions, Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen's Prot, Cosmic, Figure Obscura, all that jazz, right?
Yep.
And the customizing, so like everyone's there. You're gonna have at least a couple of things that overlap that you have to talk about. So it's not like going to a Comic-Con, seeing someone wearing a Spider-Man shirt and wondering if they actually like Spider-Man, or if they're just wearing that to be ironic at a Comic-Con or whatever,
Yeah, worst case scenario, you can talk to almost anybody there about how terrible it is to drive through Pennsylvania. Like most people are going to be like, yes, you're absolutely right. And I could talk about this for the next 30 minutes. So,
or the next 3 years.
Anything else for kind of during the con, Jesse?
Sleep, water, food, and take time to enjoy it. If you mentioned with how much stuff is going on, and even if there wasn't scheduled stuff, there's a lot to take in. It for people that have anxiety disorders, panic disorders, different things, like it's very easy to get overwhelmed in this place. Fortunately, it's spacious. There's room. It's not claustrophobic. You can get out into the hallway. You can go back to your room. You can go out to the lobby. You can go hang out outside. You can go find some space and decompress and just unplug. If you've got a room at the hotel, go chill out in your room for a couple minutes and catch your breath until you calm down. That's totally cool. If you don't have a room, go out to your car or just catch your breath. Like it wasn't so crowded last year that you couldn't find a spot. And if you need help, if you're
Just
having a
take a deep
problem,
breath. Yeah.
find somebody that's wearing like a staff shirt, or someone, if you
Find one of
recognize
us.
someone,
Come
find one of
grab
us.
us.
We're up on that front corner.
Yeah. Just say, hey,
just
you got a moment I can just kind
Yeah.
of like talk to you for a second or whatever. Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. That's I think
Brian-
that's it at the show.
Brian here says like 90% of us are socially awkward or have anxieties. Take a minute to start a conversation with someone. Could help them relax and make their weekend. So absolutely.
Yeah.
And then after the con, and this really is especially for the folks that this is the first time. Like I know there's like a whole big group that this is their first time going to LegionsCon. Be aware, it's that post LegionsCon depression is going to hit you like a ton of bricks. Like it is going to be that anvil in the cartoon falling from the sky and just landing on your head. You need to be prepared for it. You need to have a plan. How are you going to stay in touch with your friends? How are you going to motivate yourself to keep, working on the stuff that you're working on to be energized by this hobby that we have? What's your plan for that? I know, one thing that I use is the customizing studio on Sundays. There's a lot of folks that after a convention, they'll like create like a chat group with a handful of people. Maybe you went out to dinner with somebody and you were at a table with like 5 or 6 people and you had a really great time, and you make a chat group within Messenger and you guys just stay in touch. Whatever it is, you need to make sure that you're making those connections, because if you just go home and you're by yourself and you don't talk to anybody and you're like, man, it's 12 months away till the next one. It's really easy to kind of fall into a rut. But you're not alone. Like we're all going to this con, not everybody, but the people that are going to this con are going to have the same experience. And afterwards, we're all going to know that it's 12 months till the next one. You're not alone in that boat. You just make sure that you utilize the folks around you, because that's what the community's there for. So.
Yeah. 100%. Without getting into like having done some similar things like the con, I'll circle back to that real quick. Just, going on some trips and doing some like intense things with a small group of people. It's really, and then you find yourself, you're at home, you're alone, and, there's not, the rest of your team isn't just like out in the next room to go talk to. Same thing with the convention. It's last year didn't hit me as bad. Maybe it's because we had the studio and other things. 2 years ago was pretty rough, but I also came home sick, and like that was just that show ended badly for me. Or my last little bit of time at that show ended badly, but that's why it's important to make some connections, talk to some people. If you're standing in line, talk to the person behind you or in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also, read the room. If they're engaged in conversation with someone else, don't just nose in and interrupt them. Like if you can work your way into the conversation, yeah, the studio is great. The chats are great. All the different things going on in the Cabal. There's so many shows. Every day of the week, there's some sort of show or thing where you can jump in a chat like this one.
Yeah.
And at least interact or
yeah, even if you're not on the screen, you can interact in the chat. That's the great thing about these live streams.
Yeah. So yeah, make some connections at the show, and be able to, if you are feeling that, and just reach out and just be like, man, I don't know, just talk to people, get involved with stuff, get some of the custom heads you got from the show, leave your paints out if you can have your paints out on a table, and just sit down and start futzing with your stuff you got at the show, or pop and swap, or go back and watch some of Mythic Conversations old shows where he's doing his stuff, or Dorkler, the different things from the past.
Yeah.
Especially if you're new and you're just getting into all this stuff, there's tons of stuff you can see. Wolf King's got stuff.
Jeremy's early stuff, like he had so many customizing videos, it's ridiculous. I pulled up here a second ago. Brendan says there's a Legions chat on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Now, obviously, if you're watching OffWorld, you would want to complete your watch of OffWorld on Friday night and then go to the Legions chat, which is what I do. Because that starts at 9 p.m. But yeah, Legions chat on Friday, customizing studio on Sunday. Like these are great ways, because not only texting, messaging people is nice, but when you're in those chats, like your camera's on, their camera's on, you're talking, you're interacting, and you may be half a world apart, but in that moment in time, you're there together. It's a good way to really stay in touch with folks. So keep in mind, those two resources are really great, and you don't have to have a YouTube channel. You don't have to be some sort of, person with a bunch of stuff to talk about, you could just jump into those channels and listen. You can jump in those channels and work on a custom or do some pop and swap, just pose your figures. It's still a great way to stay in touch with folks. So
totally. And all seriousness, if you're dealing with stuff that's more than that, and I know we're largely talking about post-con blues, but if you're dealing with stuff that's heavier than that, I'm not going to recommend a specific place, but you can find all sorts of resources online for different networks and things to get connected with. Find a professional to talk to.
Yeah.
It might not be the cheapest. It might not be easy. It can be scary to have to like confront some of the things. My mental health journey started a couple of years ago talking to a counselor, and like couple of times I've almost had full on panic attacks because I learned the truth about what was going on with me. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but my brain was freaking out.
Yeah.
And, I thought there was something wrong with it, but there's not. And I mean, there is, but you know what I mean.
I think the point is whether it's with a therapist, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with a group of folks, you are not alone in this world. And if you're struggling with these things, guaranteed somebody else is struggling with the exact same thing. And there's folks to help. So make sure you utilize the resources that are at your fingertips. And if you have any questions, maybe you're afraid to ask in the chat here, feel free to shoot us a message. If this is your first time and you have questions about certain things, we'll definitely try to help you out as best we can. But yeah, I think if you stick to some of those things, if you listen to some of the advice for some folks that have been there and dealt with this stuff, get some sleep, make sure you're eating right, make sure you get drink enough water, take in the moments, talk to some folks, make some new friends. Have a plan for what you're going to do after LegionsCon. If you do these things that we've talked about, I think you're going to be in much better shape than if you just kind of wing it and go, okay, well, I'll go and see what it's like and then deal with the other stuff afterwards. So, have a plan for it. So
1,000%. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Jesse, it's about that time of the show where we talk about kind of what we got on deck for the following week, because we do this every week. We don't take time off. We're boom, we're at it, right? We're like what, almost 3 years strong now, like 2.5 years strong, without missing. But next week is a special show because it's the one that we do live from LegionsCon. So I will pull up the graphic here, but you want to talk to the folks about kind of what that's about for folks that maybe weren't there last year?
Yeah. So last year was the first time Curtis and I and Sean and Matt Dooch of who were OffWorld hosts last year. The first time where all four of us were together in the same place. And we knew we were going to do a show. We didn't know what we were going to do. And then I don't know if it was at the convention or the couple days leading up to it. We just decided we're going to find a spot and we're just going to go live and do our normal Shooting the Shelf Sunday night show with OffWorld guys. So we just found a quiet spot back in the hallway where they had been doing the exclusives. There, nothing was back there. And, people were hanging out in the main lobby and all this stuff.
I think when we started, it was like Sig and Big Dub and maybe Kent. And I think that was like it. It was just like 3 people. And then all of a sudden, like as the show went on, it started kind of picking up
Stig
speed.
knew what we were up to because he was in our room. So we knew the Sean and Dooch and I were going down there. And then you met us down there. And so he was just hanging out. Big Dub was like, "Oh, you mind if I?" And we're like, "Oh yeah, And I think I can't forget who else. Steve-O was hanging out in the background. So like there was that count. So some were just like hanging out back there, and then you were sitting there, and people are walking by, either going to the restroom or whatever. We're like, "Hey, come talk." What do you think? We were just getting our reactions to. We didn't go super in depth on the G concept, but we talked about it. It was mostly just highlights from the convention.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what we had just talked about. We talked about, making sure that you're taking moments to take things in. That's what we did during the show. We were like, hey, tell us about one thing that was a very memorable thing for this weekend that you enjoyed. And then people would tell us a story about an interaction that they had with somebody, or something that they liked from G-Con, or something that they saw in the vendor room that they were really impressed with. And it was a way for, us to hear those stories, for us to share those stories with folks that maybe couldn't make it to LegionsCon. And then also for that person that was telling the story, it was a way for them to lock that memory into their brain, because sometimes just telling about something, like in the moment, like telling about something that you thought was important, can lock that moment in your brain as a memory.
Sure.
So
or maybe
yeah.
Maybe like Chris Durant, you just come stand in the back and smile for a couple of minutes while we're talking to someone,
That works
and
too.
then wander off. But yeah, it was just really fun to kind of recap. For me, I guess it kind of helped as like a decompression for the weekend, because you're filtering everything through. You're filtering it with, we were filtering it with us, the friends, the hosts of the show, and then just all the people that kept wandering in, or the people who were just like hanging out on the sides, because then some of the party moved down that way, and everybody stayed quiet enough, I think, with the mic we had, and
well,
we had
it's
such a
kind
good
of
time.
like, listen, I'm probably one of the least active people you'll ever meet in your life. So I don't know this from personal experience, but you see folks that run a race, right? And when they hit the finish line, they don't just like stop, right? They kind of like coast a little bit, right? To slow down and kind of, because you can't just stop on a dime. And that's what it felt like to me. It was like, okay, LegionsCon's over, but like, okay, let's kind of slow this down. Let's lock in some of those memories. Let's interact with some folks and kind of put that finishing touch on the event. It was very chill and relaxed. So, if you've never been on YouTube before, or maybe we've talked to you a million times, it doesn't matter. Come by that area. We'll try to get as many folks on screen as we can. And just hear, what things that you guys loved from the weekend. So,
yeah. And, unfortunately, this is going to be my first year without Sean going to LegionsCon. He's the one who we exaggerate a little bit when I say that he dragged me to that first one, but like I initially didn't want to go because I didn't know, I wasn't in the community, and I wasn't really up on all that stuff, but so this will be the first time going without him, and Dooch also won't be coming back this year. But so it'll be sad to not have those guys there, because it was a lot of fun getting to meet Dooch, and the four of us being together was really special, but not a consolation. But we have our very own Joe Gonzalez coming to the convention, first time out here. So he'll be, I think he's still going to be there with us Sunday night.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think he's leaving until Monday. So, so it's a off the shelf world, thing.
It's kind
in
of
a
like,
way.
it's like in Indiana Jones, where he has to like take that like idol thing and then put the bag of sand there. Like we're taking out Sean and Dooch, but then we're sliding Joe in that spot. And we're hoping that like nobody notices and like the big boulder doesn't start rolling after us. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's going to be great, folks. And if there's anybody that's first of all, that here's another tip for you guys. If you haven't finalized your plans for the weekend, don't leave on Sunday. Would be, if you still have a chance to stay till Monday morning, I would highly encourage you to stay till Monday morning, especially if you're traveling and if you've got a long distance to travel. Trying to leave Sunday after all of that energy that you've spent over the last few days, and then trying to leave Sunday is very rough. If you can give yourself that one extra day and leave Monday morning, that it really helps. And for those that are staying till Monday, stop by, see us. Let's get you on screen. Let's talk about what your favorite moments were. It'll be awesome. So
Totally.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, then, when next we meet again, we will be firing at them shelves live and in person.
Well, when this chat meets again, but a lot of these folks are going to be at the show.
Yes. I'm at this point tomorrow. I'll be well on my way. I will be in Indiana at this point tomorrow. So
Wow.
yeah.
At this point tomorrow, I will still be painting stuff.
Nice. Well, folks, until next time.
What? Sorry, what? It's on your shelf?
It's the line that we say.
What's on your shelf?
That's it.